How's it going, everybody? Nick from Ingram Audio, and this time I'm going to show you how to quantize vocals using Logic Pro's FlexTime. So FlexTime is probably one of the coolest things in Logic, but if you don't use it correctly or do it right, you can get unwanted artifacts or little edit noises in your audio. So not only am I going to show you how to use FlexTime, but I'm going to show you how to do it to avoid getting those little artifacts or edit noises. I have a vocal here that's doubled, and I want these two vocals to be perfectly in sync with each other. Right now, they're not. Let's take a listen.
It feels like I'm crashing. I'll rise from the ashes. I'll be the one who will never back down.
So they're definitely not in sync with each other. So to start this whole process, I need to enable FlexTime on the tracks that I want to use FlexTime. I'm going to do that by just clicking on this button right here that looks like a little piece of tape being flexed, is my guess. I think that's what it is. And now that pulled up all the controls for FlexTime on all of the tracks over here on the left side. So now I can enable FlexTime on each individual track, and that's this little button right here. It looks like the same one that we pushed up there. So I'm going to turn that on for these two tracks. And then the next step, this one's pretty important. I want to make sure, since I'm going to be quantizing vocals, I want to make sure that I have these set to monophonic right here, which it already is. It might be set to something else though. Just make sure you have it set to monophonic if you're going to be graph tuning, or not graph tuning, if you're going to be quantizing vocals. What's really cool about FlexTime is it's actually really easy to use. Essentially, if you're not familiar with it, what you basically have to do is you can just kind of lay down a flex marker wherever you want to move something. Like if I put a flex marker here, I can then move this whole line like that. I can place one there. I can stretch it out. I can move this vocal to pretty much do anything I want. But I don't want to edit my vocals this way because that's not right. And to avoid getting those artifacts or those weird little edit noises I mentioned earlier, you want to also avoid putting the flex markers on the actual waveform or the word or the vocal. So I don't want to put one here or like, a spot like this. I also don't want to put it at the beginning of the word because sometimes when you do that, you can hear that little sound. It's not going to be every time, but it can happen and you can hear it in the mix sometimes and it's kind of a pain. So to avoid getting that, I'm going to try putting my flex markers in between the words or where there's gaps where there's no audio, like, when the person's taking a breath. So I can see that this line is a little early. Instead of putting the flex marker here and then sliding it over to avoid getting a little weird noise, I'm actually just going to stick it in front of it and then slide the whole thing over like that. That way there's no way that that little flex marker can make any sort of artifact or unwanted edit noise.
It feels like I'm crashing.
And it sounds like these two words get a little behind, so I need to move these over to the left. So I'm not going to do this like I said before. I'm going to put it right here in this perfect little spot. It looks like I should be able to just put it there, drag this whole thing over until it looks like these words line up. And it looked like they kind of are. It looks like they're on these grid lines. Let me listen to that.
It feels like I'm crashing.
Ooh, money. That was easy.
It feels like I'm crashing. I'll rise from the ashes. I'll be.
Sounds a little late, so I'm just going to pull it forward this way.
I'll rise from the ashes. I'll be the one.
Okay, so that the is definitely late. And to edit this the, I don't want to do this because then it's going to push the whole line. Everything sounded fine before this, so I'm going to put a flex marker here in this spot. That way, when I do this, it's not going to move the rest of the words over here that I already have on time. So I'm going to put that flex marker there. I want the to be right here. I also don't want to move this section too much. Well, it looks like that's a little late as well. We'll just put a flex marker here. Let's just pull the whole thing over until this is on. That looks like that's on now. And then it looks like this one still needs to move over a little bit. So to avoid doing this and getting that artifact, it looks like there's a perfect spot right there. I can just push it over. This should be money.
I'll be the one who will never back down.
Cool. And then this just seems like it's a little early. So I'm just going to put a flex marker there so that nothing this way gets affected by what I'm doing. And then I can just essentially grab this, pull it back, and it should be pretty close.
One who will never back down.
Ooh, that never is probably a little early. This one's going to be tricky. So there are going to be times where you have to put a flex marker on the vocal if you want it to be perfect. Like this moment right here. I'm probably just going to have to put one on here, but I'm going to avoid putting it right there on the actual word. I'm going to try putting it in between the word right here in hopes that it won't be as noticeable if it were to make a noise that I don't want.
Water will never back down.
I think that was fine. That was perfect. And then I just want to quantize this other one below it so that it matches. Me personally, when I'm editing a double or a triple, I don't care if I hear the little flex time artifacts just because when it's doubled and layered, it doesn't really matter. But for this video, I'm going to try to avoid doing it so that I can edit this properly and show you. One of the important things when you're quantizing vocals and trying to put two vocals on time together is to obviously make sure that the words, start and end at the same time. But the important things to try to look at is the noticeable things like T's and S's, K's, the explosive sounds. So I want to really line up those sounds a lot because that's what's going to make it feel more in sync. This whole section kind of looks like a mess. I've got S's starting in different spots and T's and whatever I'm saying here. I don't know.
It feels like
I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to push it over just so it looks like it's perfect with that one. I want to line up these two a little better. I don't like the way that is because it sounded wrong.
feels like I'm crashing.
Okay, so I got those lined up, but I still need to fix this section right here because this looks a little messy because this word is definitely shorter than this word right here, which is fine because I think I'm going to keep it that short. So I'm going to edit my double to match this one. I can avoid getting the artifacts possibly by putting my flex markers on the S sounds because I don't think you're going to notice it on an S sound because it's so abrasive. So I'm pretty sure these are,
It feels like
F's and S's. So it's more of an abrasive sound. You're not going to hear it. So that's good for me. I'm going to put my flex marker there. Let's stretch this and let's shorten that word so it's, looks like I need to put a flex marker here a little closer to the word. That way it doesn't slide over when I move this. Okay. Let's line these up so they're the same length. And then let's make sure these are starting on the same time. And again, I'm putting the flex markers on the F, the F noise of the word in hopes that you won't notice the edits.
it feels like I'm
Ooh, those are locked in now. And then this sounds like it's probably a little early, maybe. Pull back a hair.
It feels like I'm crashing.
Money. And then the K or the C, the K on crash. The C on crash needs to line up with that one.
Like I'm crashing.
Actually, you know what? This top one is a little early, so I'm going to move that over. I'm going to line up this top one with this bottom one.
Like I'm crashing.
Then I'm going to put a flex marker there. That way this doesn't move if I move this, because I want this to then slide over a little bit more. That's going too long. I need to slide that over. I also need to slide that over because it's late. So I'm just going to slide over the whole thing till this word right here lines up. I think I got it. And then let's move this back a little bit.
I'm crashing. I'll rise from the
Pull that back. We're putting the flex edits in the middle of the words and the gaps. There's not a lot to do over here. This section looks a little tricky though. What is it?
I'll rise from the
Does this even need to move?
rise from the ashes. I'll
And then let's just make sure that these are locked in a little more. Make sure this looks like it's an S or something.
the ashes. I'll
Yep. So I can put my flex edits there.
be the one who will never
Put a marker there so nothing moves before that. If I move this, slide that over a hair.
back down.
And then last word I'm going to edit is this word right here. So I don't want to affect anything over here. Put the flex marker there. And I don't want to affect any of these. So I need to put a flex marker maybe there. Or maybe I can put it right here. And then I'm going to put another one here. And I'm just going to pull it back. Just a little bit.
Back down.
Money. Let's hear those real quick.
It feels like I'm crashing. I'll rise from the ashes. I'll be the one who will never back down.
Cool. Let me solo it, see if we notice any flex edits.
It feels like I'm crashing. I'll rise from the ashes.
There is one right there.
Rise from the ashes.
Is there?
rise from the
Oh, that might have just been a mistake on that actual vocal recording. Sounds like I hit the mic or something. Well,
rise from the ashes, I'll be the one who will never back down.
cool. They sound great. No flex artifacts. No weird noises other than that spot where I think I hit the microphone. But sounds great. Sounds cool now. And as you can see, yeah, flex isn't that hard to use. It's one of the coolest tools in Logic, and if you use it correctly, it'll work very well. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is very instructional for you guys. Like, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day.